Prix on by. They are 3 wide.
Slade's on the super soft tyre, and he's already put them to effect, Neil, because he's 5 down the inside. He's made about 4 spots already, and he's going to park himself on the inside now with Heimgartner right in front. Van Gisbergen lucky to keep Cam Waters at bay.
Excellent start. Will Davison has immediately taken the pressure off, gives himself a lot of flexibility from that position. He's got a 1.2 second lead already. Heavy congestion and plenty of contact down the order at the moment. Davison over Van Gisbergen, then Waters, followed by Heimgartner. We're riding here with Tim Slade, who's all gripped up with a Dunlop super soft tyre. Underneath Andre he goes at turn 10.
That's a nice move. So he's come through the field immediately on the super soft tyre. He's put them to great effect, Tim Slade. He's up to 4th. He's up 5 spots as they're all bumping and dueling down at turn 11. That was James Courtney involved there, and he's actually fallen back a long way.
Brody on the inside, car number 99. We can barely see him tucked in behind Scott Pies on the dirty side of the road, and they are having a full-blown argument through that right-hander at turn 2. And out the other side comes Pye, and look at the Boost Mobile cars, absolutely door handle to door handle.
It's wheel now, isn't it? Down the inside?
Yes. Unfortunately, the Pizza Hut entry, Macaulay Jones is back in the lane here as well.
Van Gisbergen's got a very high racing IQ. He's talking about the car, but he's also then talking. Jack Smith's got a massive amount of damage on the left-hand front of the SCT Logistics Commodore. And
out goes James Golding in, who literally only got a few metres down the road before he tangled up with James Courtney, who was moving to the right off the start. So no surprise, the order on the last lap, Slade fastest, David Reynolds was the second fastest car. The third fastest car was Shane Van Gisbergen on the hard tyre. There is Bryce Forward, who's also been making solid progress on that tyre, sitting 7th between Mostert and Heimgartner at the moment.
Here we go, Van Gisbergen down the inside of Davison. Nice move, able to get that done. Hard tyre lead.
Tim Slade now does come in, so 29 laps into the race.
Oh, sorry, don't hit me. Hey. Just as easy to be nice, Neil.
The thing that I'm really keeping an eye on is that margin between Van Gisbergen and Davison. 2.5 odd seconds.
Just waiting on fuel here. Waiting on fuel.
So they're reacting with Davison now as well. Van Gisbergen's the leader.
This is going to be intriguing later on with this as Mostert and Reynolds, they bump each other on the way into turn 3. Mostert was trying to move it over as wide as possible to get the car turned. David Reynolds was parked there. He had nowhere else to go. He was against the fence, and there was just a little bump. I love this Repco curb cam shot there of turn 6, mid-corner speed. There's 135 kilometres an hour, and the cars use all of the road. The inside of the car is completely across both curbs at turn 5 and turn 6.
First compulsory stop, taking lots of different loads of fuel. As we have a look at the replay here of Brock and Brody just exchanging positions down there at turn 11. And so now this middle stint of the race, critical to be deadly accurate, smooth and consistent, making pace. Try and make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity for a quick, easy stop in the second and final stop of the race for the last stint. No evidence of the BP Ultimate safety car.
And gap Slade to Van Gisbergen now, 17.3. We reported a few laps ago it was 20 seconds, so he's made 3 seconds up over those last, say, 6 laps. So that's a big gain, especially when you consider the amount of fuel they put in Van Gisbergen's car. So he's made ground on him with a hefty fuel load.
Yeah. This is a good battle here. Supercars don't get much closer than what you're seeing on the exit of turn 3. It's on.
Oh, around the outside. Oh, how did that happen? They've got to be a difference in tyres. I've got to find that now. That just can't work like that. His pace was quite impressive. So, as we always know, that Chaz does drive the cars. When you've got little grip, he drives the car very nicely.
Yeah, he came in on lap 24, though, and he only put on 50-something litres of fuel, so 51. So the car's light also.
Will Davison's race was weird as this sounds, it's not really with Slade, it's with Van Gisbergen.
Yes.
So when he gets to Slade, he's going to have to put a really good, hard manoeuvre, bang, straight down the inside. He's going to be able to get that manoeuvre made and not cost himself time.
Let's have a look at this. Down the inside comes Will Brown on Nick Percat. Little bump and grind down there at turn 11. And gets by and could be deemed a bump and run, that one. In comes our leader.
And Scott Pye looks like he's about to do the fastest lap of the race. He's done the fastest time to second cum, and he's just done that with a 14.1. So to Garth Candace's point earlier, track pace looks like it's better, because that's a lot of fuel on that car right there to do that, because that's after the stop. So Scott Pye was told 14.5 was your target. 14.1 is the number.
So track cooling, shadows lengthening, track rubbering up.
Softer tyre.
Softer tyre. Some bit of lap speed action about to happen here. So I heard them talking about pulling the window out of Brody Kostecki's car. There must be something going on with the ventilation in the car. Because Brody's in there at the moment. Out
Foot
comes
temperature,
Tim.
I think.
Was it?
To do with foot temperature, yeah.
There's Mostert. So Chaz now in front of Tim Slade. That's key.
Now, I reckon Slade's put the hard tyre on from looking at that.
Yes.
Checking with Oscar. So if he put the hard tyre on, he's not reusing them.
10 seconds.
You'd have to punt on reusing them, wouldn't you?
And one of the open questions in it all will be whether Tim Slade can survive on the harder tyre amongst the sea of those on the softer of the two Dunlop tyres, because everybody around him is on the softer tyre. Okay, here's our race leader.
I'm going to try and dive me, and then I'm going to be in dirty air.
Sprint race to the checkered flag now, to the 88th lap.
And that didn't help Davison. Holdsworth going by Davison's going to put him in the hot air in behind that car. So Davison was complaining about being dive bombed by Lee Holdsworth. Lee Holdsworth is way down in 20th, but he's fired down the inside of him. This is the passing manoeuvre for Van Gisbergen getting by Tim Slade, which is a pretty easy manoeuvre in the end because of the hard tyre versus soft. At this point, you want Chaz to hold Shane up for as long as possible, to hold that margin between himself and Van Gisbergen. It's only 8.3 seconds now between Davison and Van Gisbergen, and there you can see Shane's in a perfect position. He'll get down the inside down here relatively easily.
Have a look at the exit speed out of turn 9, the mid-corner speed at 10, and he blasts by, under brakes into the right-hander at 11, and no resistance at all from Chaz. In fact, I don't reckon that would have cost him even a 1/10 of a second, and a lot of wheel spin on the exit there for Mostert.
Yep.
So now the critical number between Davison and Van Gisbergen is 7.7 seconds with 12 laps remaining. That equation suddenly looks a lot better than I was flogging only a few laps ago.
It does.
Look at that. He cannot possibly get closer to the wall. That's a driver exploiting everything that the car and those tyres have got. And the reason he's doing that is he doesn't want to take energy out of the tyre. The more you tighten the radius of the turn, the more energy you take out of the tyre, the more you hurt the tyre. Davison's using everything in that vast experience that he's gained over a long period to stroke this car home.
And Richard's just saying, that's Reynolds in front on a hard tyre. His last lap was an 18. So just get straight by. Just want to fire straight past him, because you want all of the things, all of the messaging to be really clear. And Richard did a very nice job there of explaining, don't worry about the car in front, just go bang, have a lunge, fire straight down the inside of David. Remember, Mostert was the first one to come in and play the long game, the undercut on the super soft tyre. It's now hurting him. Now, Will's had a little run wide there. That line was not the same line that he used on the previous lap. And that's cost him a little bit of time, I reckon, because it's only 2.6 seconds. That's a little mistake. So we'll give you a lap time in a second. Heimgartner now having a lunge. He does. Very nice manoeuvre. Great job by Brad Jones Racing and Andre Heimgartner to now get to the podium as Brad and the team celebrate that manoeuvre.
6 laps difference in favour of Heimgartner's tyres, but I reckon it's more than just tyre age. I don't think the Mostert car's quite got the balance, and he might be now vulnerable to Waters behind, because Cam's just done his personal best first sector on the last lap. The equation now, 6 laps remain, 1.9 seconds. You don't need the timing computer now to tell us what's going on, because Van Gisbergen has got Davison in his gun sights, and there's a chunk of this race to run. The shadows are up at the moment. Who is it that's in front of Will? It's car number 10. It's Lee Holdsworth just down the road there. And then there's another cluster of cars in front of them involving Thomas Randall, Bryce Forward and Jake Kostecki, so there could be some traffic to deal with here as well. He's so strong through that area of the racetrack at turn 9. He's got pace on the run towards turn 10. He's right on him down here in the braking area at 11. Has he got more traction out the other side? It puts him on the wrong side of the road when they get down. Is there a crisscross? He looks for it, but Will's a wake up. Now he goes back to the other side. He'll try to get a better exit out the final corner. And that's absolutely on, and they're both traction limited, and there goes Van Gisbergen and gives him away.
Straight up drive traction there for Will wasn't good enough. So he turned it back, held it tight, and when he gassed it up, all it did was lay a big line of rubber, wheel spinning onto the straight. Davison then had a little look just to say, I'm having one more sniff at this, but it's no good now. It's over and out.
The battle for third's far from resolved, because Heimgartner and Waters here on screen are battling for the last spot on the podium. And Waters, I mentioned just a couple of laps ago, he did his personal best in the first sector. You just pointed to it on the computer timing. He was the fastest car on the racetrack on the last lap. So we saw Heimgartner snatch away a potential podium from Mostert. We may see the same applied by Waters to Heimgartner through 10 and then down here under brakes into 11, and that's what Waters is doing now on Heimgartner. He's carried a big pile of speed in there, and there's crisscross on. So Andre gets back up the inside and wants to make a decent argument of it, and Waters knows that if he can keep the nose there, then he will have the position when they get to the left-hander, and Heimgartner goes for the crisscross again. Fantastic exchange between these guys, and they are side by side with 1 lap remaining. And Heimgartner clinging by his fingernails to a podium and not giving 1 millimetre.
What a great exchange. And he has a little look. Does Cam Waters get it stopped? He does. Does Andre get enough drive traction? He doesn't. So that was a really nice bit of driving by both parties there. They gave each other racing room. They were using different strategy and different line applications. You can see the dejection in the Brad Jones camp there of being knocked off on effectively the last lap of the race. And you can see the Cheshire smile from Tim Edwards in the Tickford camp with the opposite view of the world.
Last corner now for Shane Van Gisbergen, picking up where he left off in the equivalent event last year, and Shane Van Gisbergen gets to the checkered flag and makes it victory number 10 for 22. Home by a margin of 5.1 seconds over Will Davison.
Thank you very much. Worried in the middle bit, but awesome.
Beautiful drive.
I'll talk about it afterwards, Fred. You're having a picture.
Cam Waters for third. Andrew Edwards saying we'll talk about it afterwards. We were a little bit worried in the mid-stint whether Van Gisbergen would dig out as well, but gee, he had some pace in the back end of it, so all congratulations to him. Brilliant drive this afternoon, and has responded to what happened in Darwin in that last race where, well, in fact, all weekend he didn't actually score a victory up there. So he comes back now and stitches together a victory. We do it again tomorrow. There's our top 3.
And remembering that the guy who's really battling in the championship, Anton De Pasquale, finished 6th.
Anton had a difficult first stint.
And no pace, did he? So we spoke about the 67-point gain that De Pasquale was able to drag back some points at the previous round as Jamie Whincup and the rest of the 888 team, the Red Bull Ampol Racing squad, celebrate as Kenny McNamara, the engine builder, and all the team there with all the plaudits and all the accolades and the elation of winning.
This is quite an orchestrated dance.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, there's a
bit of
process.
precision.
It is.
Precision shaking.
But that championship that we spoke of with 214 points coming into the race today, big gap, remember, 2 races, so 150 points per race over the weekend, and that's a profound victory for Van Gisbergen.
confirmation of our unofficial results here for you. Shane Van Gisbergen has got a 5-second margin over Will Davison in the final analysis, and a charging run at the back end by Cam Waters for position 3. That's our podium: Van Gisbergen, Davison and Waters, followed by Heimgartner. Pye's done a very good job out there today to be in 5th position, recovering from the trauma in Darwin. Then Di Pasquale, Feeney, first main game run for him up here, getting inside the top 10, followed by Slade. So the strategy gave them 1 extra position mark from qualifying 9th, followed then by Chaz Mostert, who pitting early and getting onto those tyres, though it worked in Darwin, hasn't translated nearly as well here. And then Jack LeBrock in 10th position. Pertec Victory Lane greets Shane Van Gisbergen, championship leader, race victor, 150 points. No bonus points for fastest lap today. Endurance racing, it doesn't apply, but that was a beautiful drive. And he said on the radio to Andrew Edwards just a few moments ago, I was a little bit worried about it in the mid-stint. I wasn't 100% sure whether he'd get the job done, but the charge at the back end with that young tyre, particularly in the last 10 dozen laps of the race, was absolutely mighty.